funny.
The character of Sam Rock.
Get ourselves in trouble.
Oh, do not get me in trouble, you guys. What happens if DragonCon stays in DragonCon? He's videoing us. It's that guy.
I think we're on TV. I think we're on DC TV.
Oh my God, I have to learn to read. That's it.
The character of Sam Berlot, we've seen some of his backstory. We know he was abandoned at 15 and kind of had to learn to steal to survive. Then later we see that he turns into a killer, a murderer, a professional thief. And then later he's the bar owner who is complaining that he's too nice to everyone. Do you think we're going to see more of his backstory and find out how he's kind of made these different transitions to different personalities over his life?
Well, yeah, I hope so. I think that's one of the things that I like most about my character is that we don't really know what happened from 15 until we got to Bon Temps. And that was a good amount of time, and he somehow amassed a fair amount of money, you know, to buy the bar and the apartment building. And so, I mean, I loved getting to do the flashback because it was just a different kind of thing. But I hope we do some more, you know, flashbacks. And hopefully, when we do the flashbacks, it's old enough that I get to play the part. Because that little kid got to play a lot of, he got some really good scenes, and I was like, I want those scenes. And he got to have sex with Mary Ann, yeah. So hopefully, I mean, I love that. I love the flashback stuff, so I'd like to do a lot more.
Did you want to do that sex scene with Mary Ann?
I don't know. Sure, yes.
On the show, early on, we had Terry, and he had post-traumatic stress disorder, which was kind of played a little bit for comedy. But then in the second season, Lafayette gets kidnapped and put in this dungeon, and suddenly he's got it too, but it's a very scary, very real kind of thing. Tell me about filming that. Tell me about acting that idea of Lafayette suffering post-traumatic stress disorder after being kidnapped and tortured.
I didn't like it. I didn't. I was like, where's the fun? Where's the fun? And one of the writers and producers who said, well, every character has to be flipped in True Blood. So, I mean, it was, I didn't like it, but it was fun exploring other sides of Lafayette's humanity. I mean, what do I know? I'm just an actor. Writers and producers are really thinking. And Alan Paul, of course, is a god among men, so it was fun, and it works to the benefit of the character.
You did such a great performance. What were you drawing upon for that?
I don't know. I think I was acting.
All right, well, we're going to take some audience questions. We'll start over there with Nikolai. And if you want to line up on either aisle, we have people with microphones. And while we're waiting, Kristen, we will stare at each other. And Kristen, you were talking yesterday about meeting your husband. And when you first met him, I think he probably knew more about you from the show than the real you. What was that like? Did he confuse you with Pam in any way?
No, he didn't know the show. You know, he's from South Africa, and he was visiting LA. And I was single for too long. Yeah, it was too long, and I had sort of a rough week, and I decided that there were two things that were pleasant to think about. I wanted to get a tattoo, which I'm still working on, and I wanted to get a date. So I announced that to the universe, and then, you know, nothing happens. You go about your day. And I went to my nutritionist's office, and there was one seat open in the living room. And that's the third day of DragonCon. In the waiting room. And there was a CD sitting on it. And so I said, is this, seat taking? And the lady next to me said, no, you can sit there. And I said, is this your CD? She goes, yes, oh my God, they're amazing. And she went on and on and on. And I wasn't in the mood. And she kept talking. I realized I wasn't going to get out of talking to her. So I finally, so what's your name? And I had a conversation about this CD. And eventually, I started looking at the photo. And I went, that one's cute. What's the story? And she told me, oh my God, rides a magic carpet. He's like 9 feet tall. Like she clearly had a crush on the guy. But she pretended that she knew him. So I said, well, all right, well, ask that dude if he wants to have coffee with me. And she backpedaled big time. She said, oh, no. Well, yeah, he has a girlfriend. But you said he was single. Yeah, he smokes. And that is a bummer, but I thought it's just coffee. And I said, well, it's just coffee. Just ask him if he wants some coffee. And she said, he's really high maintenance. And that's when I got it. I went, okay, thank you. So I went online to MySpace, and first I went to iTunes, because if the music was bad, deal was off. Right? And they had one video on YouTube, and the song is Rain, and it's a very beautiful, romantic song, and he's so cute. And I listened to that CD, and I got a little cuckoo. I got a little stalkery. And so I went to MySpace, and I spent a couple weeks composing an email. Because it's a fine line between
stalker and
like happy, And I was sort of trying to casually get in there, like I'm on this TV show, like, but how do you? So I guess, I don't know what I wrote. I'd love to have it now, because I had no idea I'd be married to the guy. And so then I sent the email, and the band manager wrote me back and said, record it. So a couple weeks go by, so I write another one. Like you do. And, and I said, is he saying no? Did he not get the email? And the guy wrote me back, and nothing. So I sent another one. Because I'm looking at that video on YouTube. My girlfriend was like, stop looking at that video. I can't, this song, it's just so, and if you go to my website, KristenBauer.com, you can hear this song. And so the third email, the guy said, oh my God, here's his phone number. Go away. So I picked up the phone and dialed the number, but I hadn't rehearsed what to say. I didn't realize I rehearsed, but he answered. Hello? Shit. I am Kristen. And I love your CD. And he said, thanks. I'd seen on their website that they support the Earth Organization, which I know, I'm a South African group, and so I tried to elevate it to saving the world. So you like the environment, I like the environment, and maybe we could save something together. And he heard, like, I'm digging this hole, and he got it, and he cut me off. And he has a gorgeous South African accent. And he said, you're going to come meet me for coffee. And I went, I think you're right. So we haven't brought up the Earth Organization since, but we're married 6 months later. But he had never seen True Blood. And he didn't know what it was.
Well, what does he think now?
He loves it. He's a huge fan. And it's really